Hi, welcome to Smartboard 101. I'm your host, Robert Rocha. I'm an instructional technology specialist with the Paso Independent School District. In our recent video segments, we've been talking about how to add interactivity into your Smart Notebook lessons. And we pretty much showed you how to do 10 different ways of, again, adding interactivity. But today's segment, I thought I'd focus on something a little bit different. A lot of times in our classroom, we want to watch different videos that we can download from United Streaming, or we may have downloaded from YouTube or TeacherTube or some other type of video source that we want to display with our students. Now, a lot of times when we're playing those different videos, we can't really interact with it. All we can really simply do is go and watch the movie, but we can't interact with it and actually take notes and so forth, unless it's a hand notes within the students that the students are taking. But Smart Notebook or Smart Board has taken care of that. They have solved that issue of adding interactivity into watching a video. And so what Smart Notebook has done, or Smart Board has done, is they allow you to watch the video on your actual smart board that you have, like for instance, the smart TV that I have here. But you can actually pick up a pen, and you can actually, when you pick up the pen, it stops or pauses the video for a few seconds, as long as you hold your pen, and you can take notes on the actual video itself. And then to preserve those notes, it allows you to screen capture that image and then put it in a smart notebook so you can reference it later with your students if you want to review it for a test or review it for something that you need to go back over again with your students. So let's take a look and see how that smart video player works. Now, to find the smart video player, the easiest place to find it is in the system tray down here on the bottom right under the Smartboard Tools icon. And again, that icon is going to be that blue square with the white circle. And so mine's going to be right down here. Now, I'm using a Smartboard TV, and sometimes the overlay is a little hard to work. So I'm going to go back to my computer to actually click on it. So when I hold my cursor on it, it's right down here, and I click on it, I get a whole bevy of tools that I can use. And the third one down is the Smart Video Player. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that video player. And here's the window. And it happened to open up the full screen, which is good. Sometimes it won't. It'll show up just like that on your computer screen. But just like any other Microsoft product, you can go ahead, or Microsoft software, you can go and click on that here and open it up to full-size screen. And so your next audit you would need to do is you want to go ahead and browse for your video that you want to play. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the File button here, and I'm going to go to where it says Open, and I'm going to browse for my particular file. So I'm going to go to Open, and I know that my particular file is in my downloads in my documents. So, and there it is, my video. But if I didn't know where to hunt for it, let's say it was on my desktop, I can go and hunt for it on my desktop. But again, mine's in my documents, and it's under my downloads folder. And there is my video called The First Look at Solids, Liquid, and Gases. So I can go and click on that, make sure it's highlighted, verify that the file name is below in my box here, and I'm going to click on Open. And now it starts to play the video. You notice down here in the very bottom right, it already has the pause button. It's already started to play. Now, below here are my tools that I have. Of course, I've got my pause button. I have my stop button. Here, a very important tool for you is the screen capture. Of course, there's your select tool is there. You can choose a pen from the actual screen if you didn't want to use the actual pen tray. You also can change the colors, the pen width, and of course, you can delete anything that you wanted to go ahead and do. And of course, you have your full screen. The next item you have below that, of course, is going to be repeating if you want to repeat the video in a loop. And of course, you can adjust the sound if you want to adjust the sound. Now, one thing you want to do is prep before you actually go ahead and use the Smart Video Player. And you want to change the settings a little bit. So I'm going to go back up to my toolbar. I notice in my menu bar I have a thing called Settings. When I go to Settings, I have Video Player Settings here. Now, I definitely here, I want to make sure that my second option is picked, pause when tool is lifted, and I also want to make sure that my third item is clicked, or check mark, which is fade out notes. Now, for me, I have begin after 4 seconds and continue for 1 second afterwards. And those are two that are really important. Now, what I recommend if you're using a regular smart board, though, is I would probably choose maybe 2 seconds on that one, not the full 4. When I'm using my actual TV screen up here, it works just a little bit different than what you would in your classroom. So it actually works better in your classroom than in the TV studio. So that's a good thing for us today and a good thing for you in your classroom. So once I have those settings set up here, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And there's my video that I have. And the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, we want to make sure that all the kids can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to full-size screen. And there's my full-size screen video that I have here. So let's go back to our screen here. And as I'm playing my particular video, and let's say this particular moment I wanted to pause and I wanted to go and ask the students a question or direct into something that's happening in that particular video, if I just simply pick up a pen from my pen tray, it should pause the video, but it didn't. So it's one of these kind of unexpected behaviors that I have in my smartboard. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pause my video. And let me go, there it goes. I pause it just for a second there. And at this particular point, now this is not, again, unexpected behavior. Normally when you pick up the pen tool, it will stop the video. And you can go ahead and look what I'm going to do now is go ahead and create and write my notes. So I'm going to go ahead and circle solids. And if I wanted the kids to remember that, I go back to my toolbar down here and hit the screen capture button. Of course, it faded out for me just for a few seconds. And again, that's just something that happens to be with my particular computer and my particular smartboard screen that I have. And that's okay. This won't happen to you in your classroom, I promise you on that one. But I'm going to go back to my floating toolbar and try that again. And apologize there. And I'm going to click on my screen capture button. There it goes. And let me see, did I get it to go? No, I'm going to hit it. Oh, there it goes. I got my saving ink notes. And again, it's kind of hard to get the orientation right on these particular screens that I have. And as you can see here, it even though my Smart Notebook was closed within my program, it automatically opened up that particular Smart Notebook, and it screen captured the image that I had being displayed in that particular video camera, or that I was playing the videotape. And so here, I've got my screen. So what I can do now is I can preserve those notes. I can do it in two different ways. One, I can just simply save the picture and put it into what is called my gallery and reference that picture later. Or if I wanted to save a whole series of different pictures that I took with my video, I can actually go into my file and save it as a new file. So let's go and do that first. So I'll go back to my computer screen here. And let's say, again, I had my notes up here, and I wanted to save that particular whole entire Smart Notebook file. I would go to File and then go to Save As, because I want to go ahead and the reason we choose Save As is I want to go and tell the computer where I want to save that document. And I also want to go ahead and give it a name. So I'm going to call this Matter. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. I'm going to save that to my desktop so I can locate it later. And I saved it. Now, let's say, for instance, I didn't want to save the whole particular Smart Notebook file. I just wanted to save that particular image. Well, in the gallery here, when I click on my gallery tab, notice in the very top folder that I have is called My Content. And when I go to My Content, once that's highlighted here, I can actually click on this slide and hold it, and I can drag it, I'm sorry, not slide, the actual image, and put it over the gallery and then drop it into My Content. And so now, when I go to My Content under Pictures, there's that particular image that I wanted to have before. I can always go back and re-reference that particular picture. Now, if I needed to, I can click on that, and I can go to the drop-down menu, and I can give that a relevant name. So I'm going to call this a cylinder. And so now I can label it, and I can know exactly what that particular image is going to be used for. So once I finish with that, I can go and close it up. And unfortunately, and now I'm back into my video player. And what's really nice is as you're teaching, sometimes you move around and you're not exactly sure where your particular side you're teaching from. So that floating toolbar can go anywhere you want it to go to where it's convenient for you to be when you're teaching. So again, I can simply click on play, and it'll start playing the video all over again. And when I wanted to, I could even grab one of the pens from up here, if I can get this to show. Now I've grabbed another pen. Now notice as soon as I grab the pen up here, it paused, and now I can take my note that's there, go back to being the select tool, and actually hit the video camera again, the actual print page or saved Smart Notebook page, and redid it again. And that's okay. Let me go back to my computer screen because my orientation's off just a tad. And now I can go back and replay the video again, and it continues on, and the notes fade out. I wish I'd give you a better example of that today, but of course, sometimes technology doesn't work exactly as you want it to, but that's okay. We just got to work with what we have and just keep processing on. And the students will not mind, and they'll get a big kick out of it as far as learning how to see how the different technologies are working. So this pretty much wraps it up for how we're going to use the smart video player. And we hope that you like it and use it for your kids and start using this instead of using Windows Media Player. And hope you like it.